So today we continue our conversations about around the psychic being, and we welcome Loretta. Loretta, thank you for having accepted our invitation. We have a frame of a few questions, but we can freely elaborate on about this question. My first question would be, are you in contact with your psychic being? And if yes, how does it manifest?
Yes, I am in contact with my psychic being, although it might be better to say that my psychic being is inside me, and as you say, it manifests through some kind of a time of not being there, or a place of not being there, and then I am in my psychic being. It even, you could say, I am my psychic being when that happens.
Mm-hmm. So there is when it happens, when it manifests, there is a complete merging of this psychic being.
No, it's not a merging. It took me a really long time to figure out what the psychic being is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I first came here, I always read and heard, you have to have a psychic being, you have to find a psychic being, and I was quite lost. But I read about it all the time in Mother and Sri Aurobindo's writings, and I started putting things together. And what I figured out is that the psychic being is all of us, but full of all the qualities of the soul. The word psychic comes from the Greek word psyche, mm-hmm. which means soul. When Mother and Sri Aurobindo got together, they created Sri Aurobindo's yoga. And the two of them brought whatever they had to make a system. And so from Sri Aurobindo's classic studies, he brought the word psyche for soul.
Okay.
And so we have a psychic being, a soul being. We already have a being. We have a mental, and we have a vital, and we have a physical. And over the centuries and centuries of many lifetimes, slowly but surely, the work of our soul has been to put all of its wonderful qualities into all the rest of us. And there comes a point when our mental and our vital and our physical are so full of these psychic qualities that they start to manifest them. And they're really connected with the soul, and there's some magical process by which the soul draws all of our other parts around itself, and it's at the center. So I am a person, and the center of my being is my soul, and my outer parts are my mental and my vital and my physical. But when my psychic being is really manifesting, they are full of the soul, and the soul is guiding me and guiding everything around me and influencing everything around me through this vibration that is all of these parts of me.
So does it mean that you have the same capacity to distinguish the vital or the mental being in the same extent that you are capable to distinguish the psychic being, or is it completely different? How would you say that?
The psychic being is all of those things. Mm-hmm. And I would say that when your psychic being has really formed, and the soul qualities, all of the higher consciousness of the soul is in your mind, then you have a better view. You see much better all of the things that you're doing. You see how you're thinking, and you see how you're feeling, and you see the way you're behaving in a much better way than you did when you were the kind of person that was made up by all the reactions to your life.
So would you say that it's a matter of influence, that the vital or the mental could be under the influence of the psychic being?
No, I would say that well, yes, the vital and the mental are under the influence of the psychic being. There's no doubt of that.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't really separate them when you think of the whole psychic being. You know, I mean, I've seen for myself that I've made every problem I ever had from the time I was born because of the level of evolution of my mind and my vital, and the way I saw things and the way I reacted to things. And I've been able to see that more and more because my mental has become full of the soul qualities. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, the way I think of myself as a psychic, as a person with a developed psychic being, is that I'm doing everything better. I mean, when my psychic being is really forward and I'm not somehow going back to my old habits, which I still do sometimes, but when my psychic being is really forward, I have much more love and more wisdom, I'm more kind, I'm more helpful, I'm more generous, I'm more patient. And all these things are divine qualities. They're the qualities that are in the highest part of us, that is fully connected with our soul. And our soul is, of course, a portion of the divine.
Okay, so could we say that there is a psychic realm in which there are some qualities, and these qualities are in the front? What you say, generosity, compassion, more kindness, when we are behaving from the psychic being? Could we say that?
We can, and if we have a psychic realm where these things are full, that's our soul. You see, that's our soul. But there is also, it's a whole different world. I mean, I guess you could call it a realm. Because when my psychic being is really forward, I'm in a much better place. Everything is better. Nothing troubles me. I don't have any worries. Everything works. I have complete faith in the fact that everything is going to work, and everything does work. So I could think of that as a realm, no doubt.
In which we can also meet people and encounter people from this basic and find from psychic being to another psychic being?
Well, I would say communication from one psychic being to another psychic being is absolutely wonderful. And in a sense, you're in the same realm. In a sense, because you're really out of the kind of world that people are living in, where there's lots of negativities and fears and worries and stuff. But you're still in that world, but it's not the same for you.
Mm-hmm. So would it be some kind of psychization about our human stuff, could we say?
Yes, well, you can. That's a good word. I think Sri Aurobindo made up that word. Mm-hmm. Because I read a letter in which he wrote, I use the word psychicized for putting the qualities into the mental and the vital and the physical. So that's what we do. Now, how do we do that?
Okay, so it's not anymore a complete shift. It's a process of psychization about human that becomes more psychic. Would it be?
I would say that's correct. Mm-hmm. If you already have a fairly well-formed psychic being and you don't understand that it's there, you just know that you feel good sometimes, and suddenly it comes forward, it's a complete shift for you at the moment, but it's not a complete shift of development. The development takes a long time.
Yeah.
It takes a long time.
Could you share with us a little bit about what is your practice and how it came to that you are experiencing today?
Yes, sure. I do have a method. It's a very particular method. And what I do is I watch myself and I see what I'm doing with my mind and with my vital and even with my body. And I see whether it's really the best thing that I think I could do. And if it's not, I want something else.
Mm-hmm.
So then I put that part of behavior kind of out of my being. I set it to the side.
Okay.
And then, because really God helped me, do I know what to do? No, I don't know what to do. So I ask for help. And I ask Mother and Sri Aurobindo. I ask them to help. I surrender the whole process, myself and the whole process, to them. And this happens to be the classic work of doing Sri Aurobindo's yoga. Aspiration, rejection, and surrender. That's what it is. Over and over and over. And this is what Mother and Sri Aurobindo created as Sri Aurobindo's yoga system. And what the first ashramites started to do when they first came to Sri Aurobindo and Mother. So there's lots of help available. I mean, not only because Mother and Sri Aurobindo are there and working all the time, but because the ashramites wrote hundreds of letters about their problems along the way. And these are all in the books. They're like now 4 volumes of Sri Aurobindo's letters on yoga, really nicely arranged in different categories. So if I have a problem or I start thinking about something that I want to know more about, I go to their books.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also finding your psychic being, or that is to say, getting to the point where you have a fully formed and organized psychic being, is the first major step in Sri Aurobindo's yoga. There are only 3 steps. One is the psychic being. The other is having your consciousness also open to receiving from above. And the third is living a divine life in service for the divine. So it's actually super important. And it's become really important to me. I mean, I would so much rather feel the way I feel when my psychic being is completely in my whole being, when all the psychic parts are only what I am, and I don't somehow slip back into the other stuff.
So back to the method that you were describing, you were talking about self-observation, and so did you develop some kind of assessment that there is some discomfort or some incongruence within yourself that lead you to say, oh, this is not good, I should do something else? How is it happening?
Well, I think I started out with the normal things that we're taught always as children. You know, the better things to do and the right things to do. And then, of course, I was reading Mother and Sri Aurobindo, so I had even more ideas. But it took me a really long time to figure out that I was supposed to be actually doing this to the degree that I'm doing it now. Mm-hmm. But yes, and of course that's aspiration. For aspiration, rejection, and surrender.
Okay.
And then I say, no, don't want that, don't like it. And so I'm not going to do that.
So you put aside?
That's rejection.
Okay, but if it comes back?
Well, it comes back a lot. Mother explained that it goes down into the subconscious, and it waits around there for its chance to come up, because everything wants to manifest. So it's a big job to clean that out. That's why you need help. Mm-hmm. And I've learned that you don't just say, oh, Mother, please do it. You take the whole thing, you and what you are and the process and everything, and you do your best to really open to them and try not to take it back. because we do something, we take it back.
So this is the surrender?
And that's surrender. And that's surrender. And things happen. I found I don't suddenly realize, okay, no, that's not happening anymore. But things get better. Things get there's huge changes. And much more comfort and relaxation. But it takes a long time because we've really made it a hard fight for ourselves. And the customs of the world, such as they are, has made it a hard fight and difficult.
And is it possible to say at some point, okay, this is gone for good, or shall we constantly be cautious that it might come back at some point?
I'm not sure about having that thing of this is gone for good. I mean, sometimes I think, oh, hey, I haven't done that. That hasn't happened in a long time. But you read Mother's questions and answers, her classes to the students, and she says people come to her and complain, and she tells them, if you have to do it 1,000 times, 10,000 times, 100,000 times, you keep doing it. Okay. And eventually you have a result. But the more we are connected to our soul and to Mother and Sri Aurobindo, the better it is and the faster it is.
Loretta, could you share with us some significant moment in which something happened? There was a before and after, some key moments in your life.
Yes, I didn't think of it. I didn't have let's say, the detachment of consciousness to realize what that was. But the first time, I believe, the first time my psychic being really came forward was the first time I saw the Mother. Mm-hmm. That was in March of 1972. And I didn't know anything about Mother. I didn't know anything about Sri Aurobindo. I hadn't read hardly anything, just a little bit of one of Mother's books. But I had an experience of immortality in the body. And I knew that that could happen. And somebody told me, oh, there's a lady called the Mother of the Sri Aurobindo ashram who's doing this work. So I came to see Mother. Mm-hmm. And they let me come to her room and have her darshan. And when I was in front of Mother, and what you always did is Mother would sit in her chair and you would kneel down in front of her and look up into her face. And when I looked up into Mother's face, that was it. That was it. Everything was gone. There was nothing but light and beauty, and Mother was the youngest, the most beautiful and shining person I ever saw, and everything was wonderful. I was totally happy. And they tell you to put your head on Mother's lap. I put my head on Mother's lap, and Mother blessed me. She touched the top of my head. I still feel that touch. And then I decided I'm never getting up. That's what I thought. I remember those thoughts. I'm never getting up. This is what I've wanted all my life. And I'm going to stay right here. Nobody can make me move. And nobody touched me. There was a complete silence. And some force took me up. I was totally unconscious. Onto my feet, turned me around, marched me out until I was too far to come back. And I wasn't conscious until I was almost down to the ground level. But that feeling stayed with me for days. And now I know what that was. Mm-hmm. I was just, my whole psychic being was there, full of psychic consciousness. And gradually it faded off. And I didn't really notice it, because it's all new for me. I didn't know anything. And I found that whenever I saw Mother in her room, that happened. The same thing happened to me. I still didn't think of it as this is my psychic being. I didn't know enough.
Mm-hmm.
But that was there, and it stayed for a while, and then it went away. And now I find in the darshans today, Mother's gone, Sri Aurobindo is gone. But if I go to the ashram for darshan, I'm in that same consciousness.
Or you are capable to reconnect in the same...
I don't think I would say I'm capable to reconnect. It's automatic. The soul and the psychic being, they're in that atmosphere and they come out. And this has led me to believe that when Mother and Sri Aurobindo were here, and people were living around them in the ashram, they were in this consciousness a lot. The people, I mean. There was very much more of the psychic being was forward in them. I find it happens when I read Mother and Sri Aurobindo's books. And if I'm feeling a little out of sorts about something, if I sit down and I read their words, immediately I'm calmed down and something of the psychic is there.
So we could say maybe that there is a kind of psychic field, maybe in which we can jump in it in some occasion. Would it be?
I think there's a psychic field, that's a good word to use, around all of Mother and Sri Aurobindo's books,
Mm-hmm.
in the ashram itself,
Okay.
most likely in the mantra mandir, and in anyone who has got a very well established and formed psychic being. Because we all have a field. And so when our field is our psychic being field, then it's there. And it helps everything. I think this is the only thing to do. This is the real thing that helps the earth. Basic.
Now, could we talk a little bit about the traps? Is there something you should be cautious about? Is there some threats or some traps you are facing in your daily routine, in your daily practice?
Yeah, there are things that, as you say, trap me and carry me away from all the good things of the psychic. And they're things I do to myself. That doesn't come from outside anywhere. It's always what I do to myself. One of them is worry. And I don't mean worry about a thing or a particular problem. I mean the state of being worried about something.
Okay, whatever whatever it is.
Whatever it is, whatever circumstances bring. And I go into that, and that worry. Another one is blaming other people or anything else for anything I've done. And that's really easy to fall into, or that because of that, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
But I know that I'm making myself feel bad when I feel bad. In fact, there's a really great thing that the mother said. She said, if you say, oh, this person is difficult, or that circumstance is causing problem, what you should be saying is, my surrender is not perfect.
It's not complete.
It's not complete. It's not complete. Other things, getting caught in the mind's endless telling stories about everything, which is what my mind tries to do all day long. That's the nature of the mind. And it's getting, my mind is a little better because there's more psychicization.
Yeah.
But it's still doing its thing, and it can slip into lower things. Getting caught in the vital, in emotions and sensations and any negative feelings and sudden impulses, things like that. Getting caught in physical pains and stuff, And then I have to say, oops, I've got to put the light there. Because when the light's there, it doesn't hurt. And then, let's see. The most important thing, not loving all the time. That's a kind of basic rule that I've learned. To have really just unconditional love all the time for everything and everyone. And that doesn't mean being involved with them.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even mean saying anything to them. It means that's who I am. And so, should I think about someone or feel something about someone, that is what I should be in when I do it. So the trap is not doing it. I mean, forgetting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Loretta.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your testimonial.